Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful shift in nonprofit strategy, all based on the amazing work of expert Kelly McLaughlin. We're going to look at how to move beyond just asking for money to, well, to something way more meaningful, building real, authentic relationships.
So, for all you nonprofit pros listening, does this just hit a little too close to home? Does your fundraising feel kind of impersonal, maybe a little exhausting? And let's be honest, maybe just not working like it used to? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone.
The reality is, the old way of doing things is really hitting a wall, you know? We live in a world that's just craving genuine connection, and that traditional transactional approach to fundraising, it's really struggling to keep up. And here's the bottom line. Donors today want to be partners. They want to be part of a shared vision. They really don't want to feel like just another transaction or a line item on your balance sheet. They're looking for a real reason to trust you and to join your cause. This brings us to the absolute core idea from Kelly McLaughlin, a massive mindset shift. It's about time we move away from just fundraising and start focusing on building real, lasting relationships. And that brings us to this key term, friendraising. Now, this isn't just some clever name. It's a totally different way of thinking. It's a trust-based approach where you're inviting donors into your story, making them feel like valued collaborators, not just, walking checkbooks. And you can see the difference so clearly here. The old model, on the left, it's all impersonal, focused on the cash. But look at the right. Friendraising shifts the entire focus to the relationship, to authentic storytelling, and to seeing that donor as a genuine partner in your work. It's a night and day difference. This quote from Kelly McLaughlin just nails it. Think about that for a second. The goal here isn't an exaggeration. It's to build connections with your supporters that are as deep and as committed as a friendship, maybe even a life partnership. That is powerful stuff. Okay, so that all sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? Let's get practical. Here's a super clear 3-step framework for any organization that's looking to start fresh or just totally reboot its strategy. The steps are pretty straightforward. First, you've got to define your why. Second, understand your ideal donor. And third, meet donors where they are. It's a simple roadmap, but believe me, it is incredibly powerful. Let's break each one of these down. Step 1 is all about getting crystal clear. Before you can ask anyone for support, your core message has to connect on an emotional level. You need to be able to explain, in a compelling, jargon-free way, why your mission truly matters. This is the ultimate test for your messaging. Does it create that immediate sense of belonging? When a potential donor hears your why, you want them to feel like they've finally found their tribe. Now for step 2, understanding who you're talking to. And this means we have got to move beyond those broad, generic categories. The old way of targeting people is just outdated. We have to go way deeper than the surface. Okay, here's the huge shift. Removing from demographics, which is what people are, to psychographics, which is what motivates them. So instead of just thinking about age or location, you're thinking about their values, their life experiences, their identities. So for instance, instead of knowing a donor is 45, you learn they grew up with a passion for local theater, and that's why your community arts program resonates so deeply with them. That's the connection you're looking for. And finally, step 3. Look, you can't be everywhere at once, and honestly, you shouldn't even try. The key here is to be strategic. You got to figure out where your ideal donors are actually spending their time and focus your energy right there. This makes so much sense, right? A hip-hop arts nonprofit for teens, they're going to find their audience on TikTok. A professional organization? Well, that's a natural fit for LinkedIn. The point is, let your mission dictate the platform, not the other way around. But here's the thing. Having the perfect external strategy, knowing your why, your donor, and your platform, that's only half the battle. None of it is going to work if your own house isn't in order. Fundraising can't just be one person's job. It has to be a team sport. So here are 3 keys to making that happen inside your organization. First, you've got to set realistic goals that are based on actual data to avoid burnout. Second, your fundraising and program teams have to be in constant communication. And third, you have to collaborate to create a culture that makes talented people actually want to stick around. And here's a perfect example of why that integration is so important. When your development team knows the nitty-gritty details, like a program needing exactly $60,000 for a conference, they can make a super specific, compelling ask to the right donor. That one little detail can literally be the key that unlocks a major gift.
This brings us to a final and absolutely critical point. Your strategy has to be as unique as your mission. You have to resist that temptation to just copy what other successful organizations are doing. I'm serious. Stop chasing trends. If a black tie gala just doesn't fit your mission of, I don't know, hands-on environmental conservation, then don't do it. Let your authentic purpose guide every single fundraising tactic you choose. So let's just bring it all home. It all starts with that big mindset shift to friend raising. From there, you get laser focused on your why and what your ideal donor really values, and then you meet them where they already are. And internally, you build a collaborative culture where your unique mission is the compass for every single decision you make.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Your cause is unique, your impact is specific, and the people you serve are absolutely irreplaceable. So why in the world would you ever settle for a generic, one-size-fits-all fundraising strategy?